right. There's a few of us that are filing in. Good morning. If you're on the call, jot your name into the meeting minutes if you would. It's the only way people get points around here is if you attend a meeting, apparently. Write your name down. Oh, we'll get started in 1 minute. One more minute. Well, Nupur sends her regrets today due to technical issues, which is ironic considering that she just got done taking most of us to school yesterday. So, but nevertheless, she will catch up with the recording and see that we have harassed her nonetheless. She cannot escape. All right, where are we at? We're 5 minutes after. Time to get rocking and rolling on the community call. October 9th. Thanks everybody for coming. Boy, it's October, which means Hacktoberfest time again. We're going to talk about Hacktoberfest and some of our activities today. A brief reminder, we record our calls and post them on YouTube for later viewing pleasure. Maybe that's the only housekeeping item, I suppose. You know, toss your name into the meeting minutes if you're on the call. Always nice to recognize folks who join. The link to the meeting minutes is in the Zoom chat. We have an obligatory call for first timers. If this is your first time on the call, this is your opportunity. This is your 15 seconds of internet fame. This is your opportunity to say hi to everybody and get introduced. I'm looking over the names here and I'm seeing a lot of very familiar ones.
Hello there. I'm a newcomer. My name is Fad. I'm a newcomer. I joined recently, I think like 2 days ago.
Nice, Fad. Oh, thanks for speaking up. Fantastic. Say more. What brought you to the community? Where are you calling from? What do you do during the day? What's your?
Okay, I'm actually Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana in West Africa. But then I study in India, and then I was looking to gain some more skills on the web development and stuff like that. So I decided to go into open source stuff, and I came across the Mesh3 project, and I decided to join this community.
Perfect. That's a perfect response from a few different perspectives. Least of which, Fad, is the fact that you're from like West Africa, which is awesome because just the East Africans have been kind of taking over, and so we've got to balance it out. We're gonna tip the continent, I think, into the ocean on the east side. So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
There's those darn Nigerians, I tell you what. And Fad, welcome. Clearly, there's clearly we all get along here, or we like to pick on ourselves. So very nice to have you. Anyone else new today? And you're always welcome to reintroduce as well. Sort of like for any of you that may have been baptized before, you can do it more than once. All right, good. Let's jump into the meeting minutes. That's a couple of things to talk about. This is the community call. So we have a call every day of the week in the Layer5 community. This particular one has the broadest agenda. It's somewhat open. All of the agendas are intended to be driven by each of you. The community calls, well, or rather each of the calls are an opportunity for a few things. All of them are an opportunity for you to talk about the things that you're working on across any of the projects that are here, to demo those things. The community call in particular is a good opportunity to talk about happenings in the cloud native ecosystem, or things that aren't only inside of the Layer5 community. And so actually let's do that now. Let me ask anybody if you're aware of any upcoming events, or if you've seen an announcement in the ecosystem that you thought was interesting, something you learned. So anybody seen a press release recently, or tried out a new piece of tech that they thought was pretty cool?
Lee.
Go for it.
Well, don't all speak at once, geez. I thought I heard.
Ventured on from, I started out with AWS, then I've been working on Azure for, I don't know, 8 years or so. And ventured on to GCP because there's a lot of Google Cloud stuff going on, and they invented Kubernetes after all. And it's very interesting, and there's a lot of service meshes going on, and I would like to fully understand that, besides just being able to say that. So I'm working on APIs and microservices, and trying to connect CI/CD pipeline. I installed also the Jenkins server and worker, and I've been a member of GitHub for a long time, and Azure DevOps as well. So, you know, I'm trying to sharpen up my coding skills a little bit.
Nice.
Anyway, the answer to your question is there's a lot of disaster recovery type stuff, as well as Confluent, the maker of Kafka. So there's this whole thing about event streaming versus batch type activity. In other words, to go out and poll devices to see if they're up or down or responding. There's actually an event flow. I think of it kind of like in financial terms of workstation, whether it be Bloomberg or some other trading application. Morgan Stanley developed their own called Filter. It's kind of like a UDP stream that goes by, and if you're interested, or that's marked for you because you have that on your blotter, it pulls that data in. Otherwise, it just goes by. And so that's kind of the way this is, only there's more security around it, and different pipelines and things like that, and NoSQL databases, and it's a lot of it's in memory cached, and I'm just beginning to build that service as well, and an Ansible tower. So it's just kind of what I've been up to. I saw a really neat a webinar that was 3 or 4, but they have them all recorded. And what it was it was from, I can't even think the name of them. So obvious, what is the name of this company? OnSolve, all one word, OnSolve. And they're huge. And they monitor everything from police radios to earthquakes to tidal waves, hurricanes, to gun shootings, all of this on a dashboard that presumably a CISO would be watching. And also they have, it's very BCE, business continuity, whatever the E is, I forget, empowered or whatever. So to send out messages, different formats of messages, one type to employees, one type to customers, and one could assume many other categories. But it finds it gets the first it gets the first news of first responders of major accidents like that. It's called OnSolve. It's probably, you know, millions of dollars or something because they monitor all of these feeds rather. But it was really kind of interesting to see that that is where our focus and where a lot of energy is going is. And you know, for the first time yesterday, it dawned on me, everybody says DR/BC, but it's the same thing. No, BCE is like COVID. A DR is like an earthquake or a flood or a hurricane. Different things. So anyway, I'll shut up now.
No, yeah, there's so many interesting things to comment on across the text that you mentioned. This last one was kind of interesting because I think a lot of people will think about backups and DR, perhaps not in terms of how valuable it is to retrieve that, or like they don't always measure it in terms of like time to recovery, or
yeah.
I can imagine how much time.
RCO, RTO, and RPO, recovery time, which is usually 24 hours, but like for a database, it might be 15 minutes or 5 minutes, or it might be guaranteed right at the other side before it's written here. Could be active. That's RTO. RCO is the capacity. Maybe DR, maybe you're going to, particularly with cloud and microservices and elasticity, your DR site could just be stubs. But RCO is the capacity. Like, are we going to be able to run at 50% normal, or 25% normal, or 100% normal? Or now with elasticity and with the proper coding and CI/CD pipeline and elasticity values for your various containers and NoSQL databases and whatnot, DR could spin up from a skeleton to production capable in 20 minutes realistically, because a lot of it's in parallel, but they still take a couple minutes to spin up a VM, you know.
Yeah.
And much less microseconds for containers, but you have to have VMs to put the containers on, and you have to have the software installed on the VMs to create the containers, and there is a lot of stuff involved no matter what you do.
Yeah, you can't get away from. Well, fair enough. I listed down a couple of interesting things that you'd brought up, maybe things to asynchronously chat on in the meeting minutes. There are a couple of newcomers that we've had this week. So certainly welcome to all those who joined the Slack fresh. Some of you who joined the Slack this week, I think are on here. So Fod, there you are. Nice to have you. A few announcements and some congratulations to hand off to people here in the community. There are, some of you have been around for a long time. Some of you have, despite our best efforts, we've yet to scare off, apparently. And you've stuck around, and 3 of you this week, and actually, Stephen, I don't know if you don't mind, there's a bit of feedback coming out of your mic. Oh, thanks. And so we couldn't be more, there's a collection of existing maintainers across the projects who convene occasionally and discuss well, we talk about you, I guess. There were 3 people in particular that were talked about this week, and that's Josh Patel, Pratya Banerjee, and Michu Gefeller. These 3 individuals have been impactful in the community, been consistent with their contribution, but more than that, they've been, I think that they've espoused the culture of the community about paying it forward with others, about reviewing, not just about reviewing PRs, but helping others learn and doing it in a way in which is patience is exercised and collaboration is encouraged. And so it's, we want to latch on to those folks as quickly as we can and put them into a position to help the projects grow. So it's no small accomplishment, actually, and it's no small level of trust either for Josh, Pratya, and Mahu.
Yay, congrats, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate that.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. It's not a small thing. The scary part is there are many empty maintainer slots, or like we've got more projects than maintainers, I think. So it's a good problem to have. A couple other congratulations are in order, and that is to a few interns that were accepted this week. Some of these interns were accepted into a direct internship with Layer5, which is fantastic. And some of these interns were accepted through Community Bridge, both directly, through Community Bridge, through 3 different programs in the Community Bridge. If you're not familiar with Community Bridge, communitybridge.org is where you can go to find out more. But Anirudh, Vineeth, Dev, and Kush, all 4 of you, congrats. A lot of competition for internship slots. There are a couple of other slots still open. I know that there's there's a number of you in the community and maybe on this call who are vying for those. And so keep at it. But congrats to Anirudh, Dev, Kush, and Vineeth.
Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Yep. Welcome to the sweatshop, I think it's And then lastly, we also announced, boy, gosh, there's a lot going on in October, 2 new Layer5 employees. I think it's appropriate probably to announce that in the community call, because these 2 individuals are quite active in the community, helping steward projects, provide feedback, and organize us. So Shriti Chandra and Abhishek Kumar, welcome. Your avatars are tattooed with the green 5, so you can send pics of your real life tattoo, later. But congrats.
Sure, yes, Lee. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for pronouncing my name right, finally.
Everyone. Yes, congratulations, everyone.
Nice. It's like Christmas in October, or something like that. Next couple of topics. So we talked, if anyone else has interesting things that they're learning that they want to call out, please do. One of the things that, for my part, very quickly, this subject is still kind of an interesting open question mark. And I'll write down another one in a minute. I'll write down another one that I scratched my head on. There's just a brief announcement about upcoming events. And if anyone is tracking others, I think some of you are speaking at some events that maybe we're not tracking here. So please let us know. We want to uplift that. There's some a series of O'Reilly trainings that are happening starting next week. So we'll be giving training on Linkerd, sort of an intro to Istio and an advanced Istio. By the way, the curriculum here, the self-paced training for these are, they're still a work in progress, so maybe don't go look right now, but the curriculum is open sourced and you can self-pace study on these if you don't have access to the O'Reilly platform. So you won't have the pleasure of my voice the whole time, but what you'll really miss out on is the fact that two of the community members here, Abhishek Kumar and Kush Trivedi, they are assisting in delivering these workshops. There's a small item to note that on these days, it should be the case that there would be something of an influx of newcomers into the Slack community, particularly into the workshops channel. If you're around on either of these days, there's actually more sessions than we have listed here. But if you see that going on and you see people asking questions about how to stand up Meshery, or they can't get Docker going, or how do they, it's an excellent opportunity for you to be a steward in the community, for you to potentially learn as they're learning. So I would encourage you whenever you see that happening to jump in and participate. It'd be good. OpenStack Summit coming very shortly. Meshery will be on display there. We'll be talking about how it's a multi-mesh world. KubeCon North America is coming up shortly. We'll be talking about service mesh abstractions. So SMI and SMP, we'll be talking about those most notably. And we've also been accepted or asked to talk on service mesh patterns by the book at Service Mesh Con. I don't think the link's up yet, but this is your chance. I know Ruth had recently spoken at a conference, and some others of you might be as well, or maybe it's just a meetup, but list them out if you would. This next topic, Pratik and Shriti, do you guys want to speak to this next one?
Yes, we are continuing with our Hacktoberfest meetups every Thursday. So this month we have changed all our newcomers meeting into Hacktoberfest meeting, and we are making a tutorial for like newcomers. For those of you poor fellows who missed yesterday's tutorial, we had a very good tutorial by Nupo yesterday on Golang, and you should definitely check it out. And following up with that, we had asked every one of you to fill up a questionnaire, like what tutorial would you like to be covered with our newcomers meeting. So the next one we will be following up with will be on either Next.js, React.js with Material UI, or something on Golang and gRPC and all of the stuff we use in our service Meshery repos and all of that stuff. So do consider joining us on Thursday so that you get to know more about how we do stuff around here. That's it from my side.
Thanks, Pratik. Adding to that, we've had two great tutorials in the past 2 weeks by two of our very well-known meshmates, Vijay and Nupur. You can go see their slides, you can go see the recordings if you missed it. The links are there in the meeting minutes. If anybody else wants to do a tutorial for us on any topic that relates to Layer5 or any of its projects, please do ping me. We'll get you set up. We'll help you get there. That's all.
And then Pratik and Shriti, were we able to tally the results of the open source questionnaire?
I'll just send it after the meeting. I did not get much time. So I'll just send it in the general channel, whatever.
Okay. All right. Off the top off your hip, did you see one tutorial that was requested the most or more than the next?
Yes, I saw that most people were interested in React and Next.js. They were eager to learn more about that. So that was the most requested one, followed up by this one on gRPC and all other adapters and stuff rules. And about service mesh in general, like why do we need service mesh and that. Introduction to service meshes, yes.
Okay.
Also for the Git and GitHub framework.
Oh yeah. Okay. Looks like we ordered the tutorials in the right way then, if these are kind of rising to the top as the most interesting. Okay. Very good. But thanks, Pratik and Shriti. We'll look for the full the full responses later. Speaking of the responses, if you're on the call, feel free to take this questionnaire. So you can inform, many of you already have, I think, but feel free to inform the tutorials, or if you want to be social and share this link with others, please do. The more that are involved, the better, because the more mileage people will get out of the tutorials. Ruth had volunteered a topic just a few minutes ago. I think she had her. I think her audio and dropped off. So
I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, nice. Yeah, Ruth, do you know what was the topic again? I can't remember.
Okay, so I wanted to do like a walkthrough of maybe a first contribution. But Karen is here, so I don't know if she wants to take on that, because she had talked about it earlier. But if she wants to take on that, no problem. If she could do the recording instead, then I do the talk during the Oktoberfest meetup. That's fine also. So just using a simple issue, just do a walkthrough, because I think for the Oktoberfest meetup, we get a lot of people who are new beginners and maybe do not understand how to navigate through GitHub and using Git. So I think one presentation about a walkthrough on the first contribution in one of our Oktoberfest meetups. I think we still have like 2 left, so it would really be helpful. Yeah.
Hard to go wrong with that topic. Yeah. And Karen, do you want to talk about the recording that you made recently?
Well, the recording simply gave a walkthrough of how to make your first contribution to Mesh. But I did state in the recording that for people who do not have a lot of experience using Git and GitHub, maybe another separate tutorial covering just that could be put up. So the recording is already is ready for posting. I added it to the shared drive already. I sent you a message. So it would be nice if, well, maybe Ruth can make, I don't know, maybe a slide show. The recording is ready, but that is more for first time contributions to Mesh. I didn't really go into details of using Git and GitHub. So probably another video recording and maybe another slideshow for just that, for just Git might be helpful. And I found a really helpful resource for visualizing how stuff works in Git, branching, merging, cloning, and all the stuff. So kind of like a visualization. So if we could add that, I could post the link to the website. So if we could add that to the slideshow for explaining how to use Git, then that might be helpful. But I would like to make a tutorial on React.js or Next.js if that is possible. That's it.
Oh, yeah, keep them coming. Nice. Yep. So and yeah, I agree that like a slideshow can be to accompany the recording can be helpful. Michu, do you want to speak to your recording that you've done recently as well?
My recording right now is based on Askinema or Ascinema. I don't know how you pronounce this. So recording terminal sessions. So it's not a video yet, but and it's on Askinema. It's without sound. So I'll have a think about how I can do that. Maybe just recording it without sound. Maybe saying and explaining a bit as I go along.
Nice. Michu, remind me the thing that you were showing people to do. Was this about setting up their dev environment?
It was installing Jekyll.
Oh, nice. Installing Jekyll on
Ubuntu, but it should work on other Debian flavors as well, and maybe even WSL, probably also if Ubuntu is used.
Yeah, both of those have been quite the popular topic recently.
Yes. So I'll have a look at the recording software. Do you can you recommend anything? Some recording software on Linux? A screencast.
Yeah, open. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Go say it again.
I'm sorry, really. OBS is really cool. OBS recordings, you could try it. I think it works on Linux as well. It's really nice.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a look. Thank you. So I'll let you know in this in the document. I answered that, the comment there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks for all of those, Ruth, Karen, Michu. It really helps. I used OBS last night actually for the OpenStack talk, so it works on Mac too. Speaking of recording things, there's a number of you that have been involved in the Hacktoberfest and the newcomers call. It's had been recently suggested that perhaps we could do a short video recording about what we're just talking about Layer5's participation in Hacktoberfest, the tutorials that are there, where resources are, how we intend to help people. I think Pratik had a good idea about maybe those that are being really active in Hacktoberfest, shipping them out a book. There's some books lying around over here that we can ship out. So if you're interested in doing a quick video recording, I'm thinking of doing one. If anyone wants to banter back and forth with me for a few minutes, we can do that, and then let people know. Just comment here. That would be great. Shriti, you want to talk about the next ones?
Sure. So we have a meetings table now. So that's it. That's all you need to get into any of our community meetings. Go click and click. Yep. So that's all of the meetings that we have in the community. Go ahead, see the links, see the meeting minutes, see the meeting recordings if you want them. That's all. That's your one spot for finding all the links.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And just a quick test. Let's see. Oh. Look at that. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought someone in the community was recently working on making it a responsive table, so I wasn't sure if that had landed yet. But cool. All right, Josh, you're up next with the new Meshery page layout.
Yeah, I'll just share. Is my screen visible?
It is.
Oh, so I think I should first show the previous website, so like for a better comparison. Yeah, so again I'll ask, is my screen visible?
It is.
Yeah, so I'm working on the mastery page for the Layer5 website, which is the the second most page visited on Layer5 after the landing page, and like which needs to be very much refined. So this is the mastery page for the current website. So this looks like more of a project, like features just listed out, and like we lack a few things like animations and graphics, and also a few layout changes that we needed to do. So like I'll just go on slow first of all, like so everybody can like see what all data that this page caters to. Yeah, so now just I will share my uh, layout that I have prepared. uh, so this I have prepared this layout with dummy data, and like it's not like code, it's not coded, it's just a layout. So like I just want feedback from all of you on this layout, and like what all things extra you think we can incorporate, or what all things we can improve to make it more attractive page. So yeah, so I would basically changed the landing section of the mastery page, I can say, with the like will be, I think this screenshot needs to be updated with the latest one, which has a more number of service meshes listed. So this there would be these two buttons. The learn more would direct it to Meshery website, and the run Meshery would direct it to the installation steps that are provided in the Meshery website. For the next section, we do wish to incorporate a graphic which would be having something similar layout. So this is just a try by me. I'm not any good at designing or such things, but this is a layout, and we'll be having a graphic based on this very soon, which would feature over here. And like we'll also list the names of all the, like I think currently there are 11, but with the recent addition of nginx, we will be having 12 service meshes under the mesh roof. And the next part is use cases. So like this has been inspired from the current meshery website. So what I feel is like we can have animations, something to like when you scroll down, the this part should come from the right, and this one should be coming from the left. And like as you would have seen in many websites, so this animations, so like this is a very common animation that would be so like as we scroll down, these things would just appear from their respective sides. And this would be termed under the under the heading use cases. Next, we would be having a features section, and for the features section, what I propose is like 4 columns with which have the major features listed. So I just tried to extract features, and like I have listed this for, yeah, but the data is like that can be changed, and so that would be like more of dependent on the people working on Meshery. And yeah, so this space is left empty. So here also we do wish to incorporate graphic related to the thing we are the feature we are pointing to. So like let's say if we see its distributed performance analysis, so like we wish to have something over here which depicts this distribution, or the current logo of the distributed performance analysis or something like that. The next section is basically just taken from the original website, that is the architecture, and like that section doesn't require anything else, but just the architecture image is about to get updated, as we had discussed with I had discussed with Lee. and the next section is the community. So there is a thing like this community section can either be a part of the Meshery page or either be the part of the landing page. So the I'll just ask for feedback from you all, so where it suits more better. But I think like for my personal opinion, we'll be having enough things to showcase on the landing page, so this could be a part for Meshery page. So I'll just brief you about these things. So like this is the Meshery headquarters. So also pardon me for the exact locations. I have just tried searching for things. I had a list of around 100 talks by Lee, and like I tried to extract locations from them and just plot them on maps. So like I'm not, I assure you that they won't be precise. So the Meshery headquarters is for the Austin, Texas. The talks on Meshery are the places where Meshery has been talked, or where even Lee has delivered lectures. So like they are most of California, and they were also in Barcelona and Hong Kong, I guess. And most of the talks are, most of the talks take place in Austin itself, but the other places where they took place. And the next one is the Layer 5 contributor hotspots. So these are the places from where we get the maximum not maximum, but from where we get the people of the community. So this will also, I'll just ask for a poll or like a form for from the entire community to just have a list of all the countries, and like so I don't miss out any. So that would be like, I think, Nigeria and India and Russia, and this also. This is the community section. Next we go to the FAQ section. So FAQ section will also be having a similar common animation. So we won't be listing all those 3 FAQs in the page, but we'll just have a drop down arrow, and like for the question you want to see, you can just expand it and see the answer to that. And this would be followed by the footer in this section. Yeah. Also, I'll just show you the mobile view I have prepared for this layout.
Oh man, you got your Figma on. That's great.
This Adobe XD.
Oh, it is. Oh, see, I don't even know. Okay, wait, Adobe XD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the mobile view that I've prepared. So like just arranging items in all, and so this is. So I have skipped intentionally the names of the service meshes, because I think they won't be relevant to like just have a list down just below the graphic. So and the use cases and the features sections, and next we have the architecture, the community, and then the FAQs, and that's the footer. Yeah, that's all.
Oh wait, did it happen to anyone else that the screen was frozen?
Yeah. It's on
If you,
currently on the header part.
Oh, okay. So is it moving right now?
No.
Let me share again. Is it moving right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, oh thanks. So I'll just again make a walkthrough. So this is the mobile view. This place is for header, and this is the, yeah. So I intentionally skipped the names because I don't think it will just make it lengthy to just list down the names just below the graphic. And the next is the use cases. So the use cases are like very much of importance, so I thought of keeping it like a single one in a column, in a page. And also so there is a thought either we can have two features listed in a single row or a single one, but that depends on the the gravity of the features or the graphics that require detailed like zoom to scene or something like that. And for the architecture, the community, and the FAQs, yeah, that's all. And this is again the footer section, so we do have a long footer for the mobile view.
Feedback for Josh?
Oh, am I audible? Yeah,
You
yeah.
are. And then Josh, I know folks here might have feedback, so anyone that does, please give it to Josh. There's while you're doing.
So should I switch to the web view, or like should I remain on here? It's like anyone has to comment. So like, can I go to the web view?
Josh, if you don't mind, actually, I don't know that how many people have seen the meshery.io/features. I wonder if you might be able to share that.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Oh, so this is the meshery.io features. So yeah, I have extracted the features from here itself. So like, as you can see, the second point from here and the first point from here and so on, the third point.
Very good. And then in the Zoom chat, just to give everyone a frame of reference, in the Zoom chat, Josh has been working on an implementation of the Meshery project page for the next gen layer 5 IO site. And Josh, there's a link to that in the Zoom chat that you might want to bring up. And
the latest link?
I think it's a preview of your pull request.
Yeah. I'll just also do that. So is my screen the website visible?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, that's confusing. You know, my oldest son does that as well. His indentation is like backwards. So I swear we have this back and forth. What? And he's like, he more emphatically says, yes, and I think he's, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I should know better. Yes.
Yeah. So first I tried to just migrate data and use a few things into the so for the meshery page, but soonly told that this seems to lack a few things, and like maybe we can just work out on the end, like we can just try to revamp the entire layout of this page. And so this was my initial attempt on just like I not made any significant changes, but just migration of data and use of one or two sections other than those. So this is the features that would, and there are a few numbers that that would interest visitors. And then we do have, so a major change you can see is like before we did had service mesh adapters listed into a table, and we are trying to move to a graphic that more like that depicts it more beautifully, I can say. And yeah, and the use cases are also like I can say it's not like it doesn't gain attraction when you visit this website, and on the other end, like if you visit the preview which I shown for the new layout, so I definitely can guarantee like it can gain more attention than this website. And moving on, yeah, we do have the architecture. And yeah, so here is the thing that yeah, so I just missed to explain this. So what I thought was like one thing we can do is so currently we do have this C meshery at and this events listed out here. So if you did have notice, I had like in the maps in the community section, the black dots were significant of the of the meetings or the places where these meetings were held or machinery was talked about. So I think of like in the legend of that dot, so like in the place where it is defined that the black dot represents the meetings, I'll just create a hyperlink to the calcode studio dot talks, because it has like more number of things uh, then we can showcase over here. So like that's a suggestion from me. Like uh, it's uh, it's like you can just tell me if doesn't work out, and we can just try something different using this video and these links even. And the yeah, so the next thing was run mastery. So what I thought was, like, if someone is interested in running mastery or something, then we should direct him to the mastery page instead of giving him commands on this page, mastery website, instead of giving him his these commands, because already the mastery website has a very good installation step guide. So I'll just like to acknowledge the contributor who made this change. So yeah, this as you can see this part. So is my the other tab I'm talking about, is that visible, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the person who had done this was like, I'll just like to acknowledge that guy's hard work over here. So I think we can just redirect the installation, the like on the landing of the mastery page there were two buttons, if you'd have noticed: run mastery and learn more, run mastery and learn more. So the run mastery button would just directly redirect him to this section where he can find out the commands, and like, so this has more broader number of commands as compared to the mastery as compared to the mastery page on layer 5 website. And the next one was the FAQ section. So I thought this was very lengthy and we can just reduce it. And so I tried the, like, I had a look on a few websites for inspiration, and I thought, like, I saw many of those use the same animation. Like, the question you want to read answer, just click on it, drop down, read the answer, and you can just again close down, and like you can move to the next question if you want to read, drop down and next. And yeah,
Accordion,
that's all.
right?
Yeah, I don't remember the name exactly. So
Very good. Pratya, is today a good day to demo the calendar on Meshery.io?
I am currently on my mobile, so I won't be able to do that right now. Maybe we can do that next week.
Okay.
I had a few
So,
points for Chash. If we can.
okay.
yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so means I have few design inspirations for that, for the new section which you're working on the Adobe part. Like for the service mesh part section, which in which you were listing the service mesh using the graphic.
Yeah.
You can add animation like means you can completely remove the text, the tables that you are putting on the both sides, and instead what you can do is like when the person will hover over the icon of the service mesh, it will glow a bit, means pop out, and it will be highlighted. And a small tooltip or tooltip containing some text about the service mesh, and a link to that service mesh can be shown, which could be animated. So that would look nice, and it can
Uh,
also work in the mobile view.
Yeah, so I'll just add upon. So that idea has already been discussed with Lee, and like I have put this layout forward to some UX designers in our community, and I asked them out if they could just add few animations. Like, so we can just if you hover on a mesh icon, it will either expand a bit or glow, and the name must come up and that things. Yeah, so I'll totally get your point, and it would be very much good if we can do that things.
And for the community part, means the part where you added a global map, I
Yeah.
shared a link for a WebGL library. Means it's basically a API, WebGL Earth, through which you can render a 3D globe on the website. It also carries a API with it on the website itself. So, in my opinion, like on the community page or on the community section of the page, we can have a small globe where there will be pins pointing to the means different color pins or circles or any legend that we can use to point to the talks, the mesh headquarters, or whatever Lisa is shared in the chat, like maintainers and meshmates or stuff. That would be a better user experience, I think. Good design.
Okay, so I'll just try this out even.
If it's not necessary to use this one, means you can look out for 3D Earth globes for APIs for the websites, and some other which is much more friendly can be used. Just design
Yeah,
suggestion.
so like we just have to take care that that API is responsive all the time, or like it doesn't break
Yes.
down anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have also an inspiration. Like, Josh, can you go to stripe.com? Stripe.com. Yeah. Just if you scroll down below.
Further?
Yeah. Now stop. Yeah. I was talking about this part.
So the thing is like this would require some JavaScript person who is much into animations and stuff.
Yeah.
Is anyone of like any such kind of person available on this call or something who can give it a try? Or
I can give it a try, but I'm not sure if I could do that in React, because like I have to figure out some
so
expressions. Okay,
yeah, I do know that this would require heavy like HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript, and
yeah.
like to incorporate that into a React component or something would even be a bit harder. So like I checked for if there were any components available or packages available, but I didn't find any. So like if anyone gets those things, you can just send me those links on Slack, and that would be very much of helpful.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited about the new pages. We're at the top of the hour. There's one item that, so thank you very much for this, Josh. I really appreciate you giving a holistic consideration. Everyone on the call here, by the way, your opinion is valid, and the things that Josh and others are working on represents your work. So express your opinion because it's a reflection and part of you and the time that you spend. Yeah, for the community map, I just, a couple of things there's a few things maybe I want to clarify, which is one, we don't need a video of me on the site. It was there because we didn't have anything else. Two, the Meshry headquarters, I get that, Josh, you're getting that inspiration from like the CNCF, from another design, and that's fine. I want to say it kind of publicly on here that that from my part, I'm opposed to having a headquarters identified here in Austin because it ain't my project, or it ain't like, and I hope that all of you already have that sense, but I just want to say it out loud. And so there's some suggestions on like locations of contributors, because for anyone who's been here for a while, they have a contributor profile up on the Layer5 site and the Meshry site. And so part of that can be where they're located. That could be, we could grab that information and then chart it. The Layer5 maintainers, like Josh, who have put in tons of time here, it's worth highlighting them as where they're located. Layer 5 meshmates who've put in even more time here, it would be worth having a filter for them as well. So, there's one last thing. We're just over time. I want to get off the call quickly so we don't make anyone late to another call. I unbelievably neglected to highlight Dhruv Patel as one of the 5 interns that has recently been, individuals that has been awarded an internship. 2 of these are direct with Layer 5. 3 of these are with Community Bridge. Pratik has filed an application for Major League Hacking. That would be in addition to the Google Summer of Code, Google Season of Docs, Community Bridge internships that we already do. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there, but I wanted to make sure I called out Dhruv because I can't believe I missed him. So anyone have any final things they need to say before we conclude for today?
I would like to share something that I've been learning since past week. I was always fascinated by cloud and network engineering, and I've been learning Kubernetes since past week and like 2 weeks. Yeah. So here in India, a very interesting event is running right now for everyone. I'm afraid that the registration date might have elapsed a few days ago, but yeah, like the event is on 30 days of Google Cloud. 30 days of Google Cloud program provides us an opportunity to kickstart your career in cloud and get hands-on practice on Google Cloud Platform. A kind of like tool that powers apps like Google Search, Gmail, and YouTube. All of the labs are carried out by Quick Labs. So Quick Labs provides real cloud environments that helps developers, IT professionals, and students like us to learn cloud platforms and software like Firebase, Kubernetes, and many interesting things. You guys can definitely go and check that out.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. Did someone else say something?
That's just background noise.
Okay, yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Neil. I've been inside of a Google building using that same, some quick labs to learn some stuff similar to what you'd said a couple of years ago. So it's a pretty decent content. Well, thank you all. I think that's a wrap for today. We'll, same time next week. Talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye all.
Bye-bye.
See ya.